How do I stop feeling like I'm not enough? Welcome back to Bold Faith Moves. Here we empower women to own their worth and get bold in faith, life, and business. If you've ever felt unworthy or stuck, this is your space to break free, unlock your potential, and build lasting habits for more energy, joy, and fulfillment. I'm your host, Jessie Mershon, speaker, wellness coach, wife, and mom of four. And today we are breaking through the feeling of unworthiness because so many of us feel that every single day. And the biggest thing that is holding you back in life right now is comparison. When you are stuck in the feeling like you are not enough, it's because you're looking at all the stuff happening in the world. You're looking at people's highlight reels on social media, how their life looks, how their home looks, how their job looks, how the friendships look, and you're not seeing the realness behind what's really going on. So you have to remember with social media can be an awesome tool. But if you are following people who make you feel like you're not enough, you can always mute them or completely unfollow them so that you continue to follow people who inspire you, motivate you, and help you become a better person. There's a difference between following someone who gives you motivation and someone who has every single thing perfect. Recently, I was following a mom and she's amazing. But what I found is I was constantly starting to compare myself. She is a mom of three kids. And what I found is she only has her kids half the time. Well, that is very different. And the time management that you have in your life when you have kids half the time versus every single day versus kids in school versus kids home, it is all very different. And so when you are following someone, make sure that you're asking yourself, are they in the same season you are? Are you looking at a mom who has no kids and you have four and you're trying to put yourself in her shoes? Because you're in two totally different stages of life. And when you start to feel like you're not enough, you have to stop and ask yourself, why am I feeling that way? And when you start to ask yourself that, you start to see, okay, well, because I was maybe spending too much time on social media looking at people's highlight reels. I was maybe not taking care of myself at all. And I'm looking in the mirror and I'm feeling burnt out. I'm feeling exhausted. I'm feeling overweight. I'm feeling uncomfortable in my clothes. Maybe those feelings of not feeling like you're not enough is because you haven't been showing yourself that you are enough. Something to remember about a wellness journey, it's so much bigger than just you wanting to be skinny. A wellness journey and getting stronger and who you're becoming is all about strength. Strengthen your mindset, strengthen your body, strength so that when you look in the mirror, you feel proud of that version you are. And when you're constantly giving everything you have to everybody else and you're throwing yourself to the back burner, which is so easy to do in motherhood, I think we've all been there when you are literally like burnt out to the max and yet you are still going, right? Because you can't just pause motherhood and be like, you know what? It's too much right now. I'm going to take a break. You have to keep going. But you end up looking in the mirror and you're like, who the heck am I? And I was there. I was there 10 years ago where I looked in the mirror and I hated the version of myself. I was at a point in my life that I was extremely unhealthy. I was doing nothing for my mindset. So I was in a very negative mindset. And maybe you're there right now where you don't have the tools to grow. And so, first, I want you to acknowledge the fact that we grow up and aren't given the tools to work on our mindset. We are put into this world and we go to school and we are not told how to work on our mindset, how to change our attitude, how to focus on gratitude. And those are the things that are going to change your life the most is focusing on gratitude, but also getting in tune with yourself and making time for yourself. And when you start to do that, you start to see yourself differently. Because the truth is you are enough. You are enough right now, no matter what weight you're at, no matter where your job is, no matter where you're struggling, you are enough and you're the person that's here for the job. But we are always able to grow. And you should never be at a spot in your life where you're like, you know what? I'm enough. I don't need to work on myself. I'm, at the top. Because the truth is what is the top, right? The top is not something that we want to focus on. It's every single day. How can you grow a little bit? because you're going to go through obstacles. You're going to go through hard times. You're going to go through stressful times. And if you continue to show up for yourself and focus on gratitude and ask yourself, how can I get better? You're going to continue to grow into a version of yourself you really love. And no one wants to look in the mirror and not love who they are. And I know that because when I spent years doing that and looking in the mirror and constantly comparing myself to that girl has beautiful hair, that girl is so much prettier than I am, that girl has better clothes than I do, that girl has this, that girl has that, it got me nowhere. I spent so many years in comparison mode, forgetting that I'm who I'm supposed to be. And I don't need to be perfect and I don't need to be like them. What I need to do is learn the tools to love myself. And what you need to do is learn the tools to love yourself so that when you walk in a room, you know that you're enough just as you are. When you show up for yourself, you know that you are worth it. When you look in the mirror, you feel proud of yourself because as you get to have all those feelings, you truly start to love the person you are. And that's what we all want. No one wants to hate the person that they are, and no one wants to be completely so burnt out that you lose yourself. And we want to break free of that. We want to empower you to help take control, take action of your life so that you can feel your absolute best. So, something that I do every single morning, and to be honest, over the last 8 weeks, I kind of got away from it and it has affected me a ton. And that's kind of why I'm doing this episode too, is because I go through stages where I do a lot of work on myself, but I have the same days you have where you wake up or you are in a good mood and then the day it comes at you like freaking rocks on top of you. And you're like, how am I going to get through this? And last night, that was a day for me. It was a really long day with my kids. We didn't get naps in like we usually do. Well, that not me. And it was just a long day. They had a lot of tears. My car ended up getting hit and it's a new minivan. And I think we've had it about a month. And so it was just a lot. And I was like, what the heck is going on tonight? So I allowed myself to cry, but then I remembered I was going to get up in the morning and I was going to take action. Yesterday, I didn't get my workout in. And when I don't work out, I don't handle life the same way. And that might sound crazy to you, but as you start to look at wellness as something that you're showing up to be a stronger version of yourself, when you're crushing your workouts and you're feeling strong, it helps you get through the accidents and the obstacles in a stronger way. And so it's not even just about being strong in the gym. Yes, it's amazing when you are picking up heavier weights, when you are seeing your abs after having babies, when you are flexing in the mirror and you're feeling really freaking proud of yourself. But it's also the thing that's going to help you get through your hard days. And it's going to give you strength to remember, I got this. I can do this. Yes, it's a hard day. Yes, it sucks. Yes, it's a hard season, but I'm going to get through this. And the holiday season is usually a time where moms are burnt out to the max, where we are doing so much for everyone else, but also we're getting in comparison. Like, am I doing enough? Am I bringing enough joy to my kids? Am I doing enough for my neighbors? Am I doing this? Am I doing that? Am I getting them enough Christmas presents? Am I taking them on the trip that everybody takes their kids on New Year's? It's all the different things that start to pile up. So when you start to feel that, the first thing I want you to do is I want you to take a step back when you are feeling like you're not enough and say, okay, why am I feeling like I'm not enough? And when you ask yourself that, you'll usually be able to tell yourself that maybe it was because you were on social media. Maybe it was because you were at a dinner with your friends and they were all talking about things that made you feel like you weren't enough. Maybe you showed up at a party and everyone was dressed to the T's and you felt like your outfit wasn't pretty. We're so hard on ourselves. We are constantly in comparison. And so a lot of the feeling like I'm not enough is going to come from that comparison. And when you ask yourself, why am I feeling like I'm not enough? Usually it's going to be directed at something you saw or something that you're in comparison with. So that's your first question, is asking yourself, why am I feeling this way? Then also asking yourself, what have I been doing to take care of myself? When you ask yourself that question, what am I doing to take care of myself? If the answer is nothing, That's your gotta be something that you start to prioritize. You have to say, okay, you know what? I'm doing so much for everyone else. I'm doing nothing for myself. And you can't live like that. It will burn you out and you will lose yourself and you will be more emotional and more stressed and more overwhelmed and more unhappy. And you won't be the mom and the wife that you want to be. You won't be the person that you want to be. God says you're fearfully and wonderfully made. And he really believes that. And you need to believe that too. And so letting go of comparison, but also knowing that who you are and knowing your worth and knowing you are fearfully and wonderfully made. You are wonderful just the way that you are. But when you decide to step up, it is deciding to take action. And I think for so long, we were told that, working out is just to be skinny, eating healthier is just to be skinny. And it's not. It's to feel proud of yourself. It's to, when you have foods going in your body that aren't messing with your brain and aren't messing with your energy levels and your anxiety and depression and causing all these different things within your body, you see life in a different light and you walk through your days in a different light. I know when I am like eating a bunch of crap and not getting enough sleep and not feeling my best, being on social media too much, that is when I start to really doubt myself. And so you have to take the step back and ask yourself. So, number one, you're going to ask yourself, why am I feeling like I'm not enough? Number two, you're going to ask yourself, are you taking care of yourself? And if not, what can you do to start? Maybe it's that you're going to get up in the morning. Like I mentioned earlier in this episode yesterday, I didn't get up and have time to do my workout. And my day felt like a pile of bricks was landing on me all day long. It was like one thing after another. Well, today I made sure that I got up, that I got my workout in, that I got my gratitude done, that I got food cooking early for meal prep, that I did things I needed to do so I could ease into the day instead of going into the day feeling completely overwhelmed, waking up at the same time as my kids. So that's something to think about, which is number two. And then number three, I want you to really start to ask yourself, who are you becoming? Because so often we forget that the version of yourself you're becoming is something that you get to work on every single day. And when you don't have a version of yourself you're excited about, it's easy to start doing the same thing every single day and asking yourself, like, is this really it? Running from one thing to the next, being tired, grabbing food on the go, having no real conversations. This past week, I was able to have 3 different in person meetups with different friends. And it was my best week in the sense of I felt so connected in real conversation. Sometimes we forget that in the busiest seasons of getting our kids to all of the things and getting all of the Christmas stuff and doing all of the activities and things going on, that we aren't even really connecting with people. And we need to connect with people. Having real, honest conversations and having those really deep conversations help you just grow and help you stay in tune with who you are and who you're becoming. And when you feel like you're not enough, a lot of times it's just because you aren't showing yourself that you are. I love being a mom, but I also love taking care of myself. And I love having goals because I know if I don't have goals outside of motherhood, when motherhood is really hard, I don't have something that's making me excited. And there's days where our kids kick our freaking butts, right? Like there are days that you're like, what am I doing wrong as a mom? Because I feel like a complete failure. And if that's the only thing you have is just how you are as a mom, then what do you do? Because then on those days that you feel like you're failing completely, and we all have them, we're not failing, but you still have them, you have nothing else for you. So having a goal, having something that you're showing up for yourself and remembering in this busy season of Christmas, focus on joy. In this busy season of Christmas, focus on less social media. In this busyness of Christmas, focus on how can I just have more fun with my kids and family. I have been really kind of stressed out, if I'm being honest. 8 weeks ago, we found out we were completely losing our income for my business that I built over 10 years. And there's a lot of stress that comes with that. There's a lot of anxiety that comes with that. There's a lot of feelings that come with that, highs and lows and emotions that I didn't expect to feel. But I also have to get intentional about what I'm doing because I can ask myself every single day if I'm being the mom I want to be. And there was a lot of days during the last 8 weeks that I was so consumed with everything going on with that I wasn't being the mom I was wanted to be. I wasn't being as present as I wanted to be. And we all have seasons like that. So it's okay if right now you're like, you know what? I'm not being the mom I want to be. But how can you take a step back and give your kids a little bit more time of being present? Maybe you are all in your matching Christmas PJs if you're getting that, gonna watch the movie Elf and have popcorn and do hot chocolate one night. Like, make it fun and put your cell phones away so that you can enjoy the time. Because when you start doing intentional time with your kids, intentional conversations with your friends, intentional meetups, you start to also feel worthy and you start to feel like you're enough. And you always are worthy. You always are enough. But when you're in that burnt out stage, the first thing you start thinking is, I'm not enough. And we want to break through that because no one needs to walk through life feeling like you're not enough when our God says that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. So, a quick recap for you before we hop off and before we head into this week. You're going to first ask yourself, why are you feeling like you're not enough? And get true and honest. The second thing you're going to ask yourself is, how how am I taking care of myself? How am I showing up for myself and showing myself that I'm enough? Because the truth is, you can have a loving husband, you can have kids that are being really great, you can have really good friendships, you can be giving to everybody else and serving everybody else. But if you are never giving to yourself, you eventually start to feel like you are not enough. No one can love you better than you can love you. And I want you to remember that every single day. It is nice to feel loved by other people, but when you truly start to love yourself, it is completely different and it's something that no one can take away. And it's not, you realize how you don't need to be dependent on other people to show you love because you love yourself. And a lot of times when we have these hard days with our kids or we have hard days with our spouses, we don't truly love ourselves. And so everything starts to unravel. When you love yourself, you're able to handle things differently and make sure that you're showing up for yourself and figuring out what does that look like in this season of life. How can I show myself a little love? Can I put on a facial tonight before bed? I do that every Sunday and just kind of put my teeth whitening strips on, do a facial to kind of reset for the week. So what can you do? Can you get in movement? Can you meal prep a lunch to have for the week so you feel on track? Every time you give yourself a little win, you feel a little bit better, and it's all about improving who you are. So you are feeling proud of the version that you are. And the third thing is get in real conversations and real connections. Because when you get in those conversations, when you get in those connections, you are going to start to truly love the relationships in your life and you are going to start to be more present and you are going to start to feel more free and love who you are. I always want you to know that you are enough, you are worthy, you are fearfully and wonderfully made. And I hope you have an amazing week. If you have a minute and you are able to share this episode with a friend, make sure that you do so we have more moms walking through life knowing that they are enough and knowing how to get through the days where they don't feel like they are. I hope you have a great week.